Hello, London. We are ready for your vote.
Hello there, I'm Stephen Perkins, and this is Douze. It is currently 10:47 p.m. on Thursday, the 15th of May, and the second semi-final of Eurovision 2025 has just finished. So we now have our full selection of people and countries and acts for this year's grand final. We're here to discuss everything that happened tonight, and I'm delighted to be joined once again by AJ Clay. AJ, welcome back.
Hello, nice to be back.
Oh, and it's great to have you here. And a huge amount of drama happened in tonight's semi-final. Let's just quickly recap who the countries who qualified are. The countries who qualified for this one. Sorry, Liam, you're going to have to cut me out there. I'm gonna give you a clean start because I had the wrong document up. Right. That's okay. Let's just recap the countries who qualified from this year's. Sorry, one more time. Let's just recap the countries that qualified from tonight's semi-final. They are Lithuania, Israel, Armenia, Denmark, Austria, Luxembourg, Finland, Latvia, Malta, and Greece, which means our non-qualifying countries were Australia, Montenegro, Iceland, Georgia, Czechia, and Serbia. So I think that a few surprises in there, some pleasant, some less so. Let us start. I think would be nice to start with Denmark because up to this year had the longest non-qualifying streak for a country currently active at Eurovision, and that is no longer the case. Hooray!
I'm so happy. I was so relieved.
Me too.
I've been really feeling for them,
Yeah.
oh,
Because I don't think they've been doing anything particularly wrong. That's the thing. They've
no,
just always just they've been kind of just missing out just very slightly. And this year I was sat there thinking like Sissel is the song's really good. She I think is a really charismatic performer. You know the pieces are all there, and if it doesn't work, it's just going to be because she's in the wrong semi-final. And so I was so thrilled for her when they called out her name, and you just saw the look on her face because I think she probably didn't think it was happening.
no. And
So
she literally, she was going to pieces. Our group chat was kind of going, quick, get her a stiff drink because she looks like she's just, but she's so lovely. Like she's come across so well in the interviews. And she
mm,
was on Radio 2 this morning. She gave a producer a heart attack. She swore three times on breakfast radio, and I was just like, "Yeah, go off,
fabulous.
Queen. Sure, they have no rules about that in Denmark. It's fine." But it's such a bop, it's growing
It
on me.
is. It's a really fun song. I've had it on repeat quite a lot in the last few weeks, and so I'm genuinely thrilled for her, and you could just see how much this meant to her. So that was really really lovely. Other countries we can talk about. Who else got through? Who was maybe a bit of more of a surprise? I think Latvia, Lithuania, they were both kind of question marks for some people. I was absolutely delighted to see Latvia through because that one I thought was just so fascinating, and the vocals were stunning. And wasn't sure about the costumes. The costumes were a bit like something you have to fight in the water temple of a Zelda game.
Yes,
But then they
the
had that
sort of
bit.
tails, yeah, and
The
that
tails
looked.
were very cool. I really liked the tails, but yeah, up until that point, I was a bit like, what's going on? But I just loved the harmonies and the sort of the whole energy of that piece. I just thought was so kind of unique and brilliant. So I was
I,
really
I
really
just
thrilled.
I just feel like I was being welcomed into a lovely forest grove by some sapphic
Yes.
fairies. Just they were very, just lovely harmonies, just very gentle, lovely curtain, just little beaded curtain, like the
Yes.
70s. Just very good,
I
very
think they
relaxing.
were the whole sort of I realized we didn't discuss this on Tuesday. We did not discuss the new reveal format, and I felt they were really putting poor Mariana Conte through her every emotion under the rainbow because she was in the window twice before they called her through, and and they left her till penultimate one before they called her through, and I was starting to worry for her because the thing about Malta is no matter how hard they try, they don't really have a voting block. They're always something of a question mark qualification wise. So I thought, if it didn't work for them this year, what could they
Yeah.
possibly have done more than what they did?
This is
So,
it. I mean, because I feel like they fumbled the bag before, especially with Destiny
mm,
and kind of trying to throw cash, and it really upset me that I think. But I wasn't mad keen on Mariana's song, but from what I gather, she has been a really good ally, especially on
yes,
like the opening ceremony and stuff. So I'm thinking, well, yeah, we need more people like that through. So I'll allow it.
yeah, no, exactly. I think she's been using her platform for good,
Yeah,
which is fabulous, and we love to see it. And I've just enjoyed her whole kind of vibe. I love the fact that she, made the video for her song, which just referenced the fact that she was in a car crash after her national final and all that sort of stuff. She's just so kind of, and people have made the point as well that the song is very much about living your authentic self,
Yeah.
and that is, I think, something we should really be celebrating with everything that's going on in the world right now. I think we definitely need more of that. So thrilled for Malta that they're through this year, and really, really excited for them to just really wow everybody in the final. Armenia. Let's talk about Armenia.
What a
Still not a big
mess.
fan. Still not a big fan of the lyrics, but do you know what? There was something so goofy about it that I really warmed to it when I was watching, because it was so kind of obviously thirsty,
Oh
and
yeah. I mean, they got the
treadmills are
guy with
kind
his sort of spikes coming out of his chest, and he was sort of grubby on his travelator, and
yeah.
just
And
it was
travelators, I think,
clear.
They're a bit old hat at this point, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's a staging combat that has been done before, but I couldn't stop myself from just thinking I kind of want this to get through, because it was just kind of endearing and fun, and
It's very kind of late night at the Euro Club, isn't it? It's very, you can see
yes,
all the people sort of gay football chant style going da 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 da.
it's
But,
very that,
you
yeah.
couldn't help but sing along. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. And so really, really pleased for Armenia. Lithuania being through first was an interesting call. I'm sort of on the fence about that one. I think that, it's not my cup of tea. I think there is a place for it at Eurovision. Probably not going to get my vote in the final, but
Yeah, I think it's probably my opinion as well. I mean, I think in fairness, I was a bit of a sort of teenage emo child, so it kind of appeals to me on that sense. Like I need some misery in my Eurovision. Um, but yeah, it's something different. And Lithuania always send, they always have some really unusual things in their national final. So I was kind of pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh well, I'll take it. That's something different. It's not the same, pop bangers. It's not, a Balkan ballad. It's emo.
yes, exactly. And we need that kind of variety in the final, don't we? Because what we don't want is too many identical bops, as has
Right?
happened in the past. So you definitely want something to mix things up a bit. And it's very helpful for the producers as well, isn't it? If they
Yeah.
get something, so they can pop it in the running order, and it will give everyone's ears a bit of a break from everything else that's going on.
Misery
Um,
break.
Misery break, exactly. And who else have we not talked about so far? Austria is an interesting one to me, because they're very high up in the odds. I watched the performance, and I think that staging is a mistake. I don't like that staging for that song at all. I think it's too busy. It's too much in general. There's too much happening, and it looks kind of silly, I think, because there's so much going on.
I think, yeah, the opinion in our kind of group chat and in the living room was that I get that they were going for cinematic and kind of
Mm.
epic and stuff like that, but it did feel like it wasn't even in the arena, like it was the music video, like it was filmed
Yeah.
elsewhere. The black and white, it didn't work for me, weirdly. It felt just like it was grey and flat.
Mm.
But the thing is, the song, like I absolutely love JJ's voice.
Yeah.
So in that
Yeah.
respect, I'm happy he got through because it's
Mm.
so popera, it's different, but the
Yeah.
staging just didn't move me.
That's the thing. I absolutely agree with you. I think the song is fantastic. I think the vocals were incredible. But I do wonder if the staging might do more harm than good in the final, if it might put people off. Will be interesting to see how it does in the televote. Also, one thing that occurred to me, and I think I put this on Blue Sky while the final was on, but given that they both have kind of boat themed staging, I would love to see Iceland and Austria swapping staging concepts but keeping the same songs.
Oh yes.
Can you just
Oh,
imagine Vibe in that kind of weird black and white, clinging to a mask kind of thing, while
vibe in the boat
JJ's
going.
there in some silver, like rolling around in the boat? That'd be so fun.
It was a little Minecraft volcano in the background. It
Yes.
was nice.
I think I messaged you earlier just to say that like I've been non-stop listening to Vibe
Oh,
since Tuesday. It's such a good song.
let's make it happen. Reykjavik
Reykjavik
2026.
2026.
Come on, prayer
I
circle.
believe. Let's quickly mention a few of the non-qualifiers. A few surprises in there, I think. Czechia, I think they sort of did the Belgium in that they went from a pretty guaranteed qualifier to a borderline to then not qualifying. And we were sort of chatting about it in our house, and I think we sort of came to the conclusion that it felt very reminiscent of Musti for Belgium from last year. The staging and the performance and everything about it kind of felt like that. And obviously, he didn't get through either. So it feels like you need to learn from other people's mistakes at Eurovision and not copy the things that didn't work for other people. Don't assume that they will work for you.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah, this is the thing. It's another one where it's like a good voice, just not sure the song worked for me, or like the staging was okay, I guess. But again, quite an operatic style that Adonis has got. But it was sort of several songs in one. I felt like it sort of was trying to do a bit too much. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel sad that it didn't get through because I liked the song, and and Czechia, bless them, keep sending their best gays every year and then getting absolute dirt in response. But
Shocking.
What can you do? What can you do? One of the alleged dead certs for qualification that didn't get through, which I was not that sad about, was Australia, because that whole performance was such bad vibes for me. I'm sorry. I'm sure he's lovely, but it gives me the ick.
It just, my friend Dude Points wrote a very good blog post on it, but basically it just felt very creepy and weirdly non-consensual and kind of, and somehow
exactly.
like I don't know, it's just, no, I don't want your milkshake. No, get away. No, I'm covering my drink. Go.
I feel like we had this conversation when you were on previously, where it's because it's not that I'm being prudish and it's not that I'm have an aversion to people being sexual at Eurovision, because hello, Erica Vickman. But the thing is, Erica Vickman is sexual in a way that feels consensual and inclusive. Australia felt like someone being sexual at me against my will.
Yeah, and it was just icky. Icky.
And also it was just really kind of like clunkingly obvious. It's like these aren't clever innuendos. We all know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like it's not even, it's a single entendre, and you're just your vocals aren't very good. You're talking about your milkshakes, whereas Erica has gone up on a microphone that's jizzing pyrotechnics for you, and just about being consensual and having fun in the bedroom. That's more like it. That's my kind of vibe,
Exactly, Erica, and I mean full marks for Erica for literally everything she was involved in tonight. The eating fondue with Basel in the green room was masterpiece of television.
I absolutely lost it when just her expression when it came out. She was just like, so like frightened and confused, but then she's just like, okay, fine, I'm going to try and sexily eat this piece of bread. Like,
cheese dripping down her chin. And I don't know if you saw, like just before the camera cut away, like the bit of bread on her fork just fell off.
Oh no, perfect.
It was just no notes, absolutely perfect. But yeah, Erica just absolutely knocking it out of the park. I mean, we could probably talk about Erica Vickman all day.
Honestly, no, she's just great, and I mean I've been a fan of her since she last tried to qualify with Cicciolina, and I've actually seen her at a music festival in Finland, and she was just great. I couldn't love her more. Just really works a crowd.
Because it feels like she's kind of been an afterthought in the past few weeks, because obviously there's been the whole saga with more people in Finland supporting Sweden this year than actually supporting Finland. But I feel like now people have actually seen what she's doing on stage. Hopefully, think like people are starting to respect her a bit more and maybe view her as a bit more of a contender, which would be great, because she, I think, was the best thing about tonight's semi-final by miles.
Yeah, I do think that Tuesday's was a stronger semi-final in terms of like strong entries, but to end on Erica was just such a delight. Like in our house we were just SMSing for the wind. Just like, come on, Erica, go, votes and votes.
Yeah, Luxembourg as well. I also thought was actually surprisingly good in the end. I was a bit, because I'd seen some slightly iffy performances in the run-up to the contest. Some of the kind of pre-party ones were quite shaky vocally. There was definitely a moment on the night where I think about half of the second verse where she was running out of puff and her voice was starting to shake a little bit, and she kind of clawed it back for the end. So that's all. She's very professionally trained, so I think that's her professional training kicking in. Because I did find myself wondering how many of the casual Eurovision viewers are really au fait with what song won in 1965, and making references to it. But I did think, as a whole, the performance really worked. I think I loved her sexy dances, and I'm glad to see that one through, I think.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was sort of on the fence about it, partly because, I mean, I am the nerd that knows about like Franz Gall and the song that was kind of riffing on it. I thought it was really interesting that it got a pass, given that it kind of samples, that kind of has same notes from Poupée de Cire, Poupée de Son, whereas other people like Gotha and Goet have had to rewrite their songs because they've gone, oh, this old nursery rhyme or whatever is you're not allowed. So I found it really interesting, and I think they also waited till after Franz Gall passed before they kind of
Oh,
released it.
really?
That's what I so I thought, for me it's a bit of a disrespect. I mean, this the
Mm.
song is okay. I think it's the staging was very strange for me because I think the house was giving me AI slop. I don't know. I was
Oh, yeah, a
slightly
little bit.
suspicious, a little bit suspicious. But it is an upbeat bop. So I think if you're asking me to choose between that and Milkshake Man, I think I would go with Luxembourg every time.
Well, there we go. Not the most ringing of endorsements,
Not the big
but
endorsement, but still, yeah.
and speaking, we mentioned staging. Let's talk about staging because having watched two semi-finals now, I'm not a big fan of this staging layout. I don't really like the whole two separate areas and a big catwalk in between. I don't think it lends itself to particularly dynamic performances. I think there's too much people trying to get from one bit to the other, and it's too far apart. I just don't really think it works.
Yeah, there's a lot of distance to cover, like you say, and I know what they're trying to go for with they've got the frame, which I quite like. The sort of it's a
The frame's
postcard, it's a
cool.
literal postcard. But as you say, the kind of shape of the catwalk and things, there's just quite a lot of hoofing around to be done, and I mean, I
Yeah,
know it's
I
not a
think
huge venue and they've had to be quite creative, but yeah,
yeah, it's not my cup of tea. Let's also quickly talk about the new reveal format. We have mentioned it briefly. The idea behind it is allegedly because they want people to see the actual moment someone qualifies, the reaction that they have in the moment, and apparently cutting to them a nanosecond later isn't good enough, which is what we've always done before. Um, I personally don't buy that excuse on the grounds that they didn't do it either night for the final reveal, which is the most emotional, most dramatic one. So in the case of Greece and Ukraine, we didn't see the moment of qualification because the cameras were on Sandra and
yeah.
Hazel. So I don't really buy that excuse at all. I don't hate it as much as I thought I would, um, but I still don't think it's really necessary.
Yeah, it did slightly bring to mind. I know they ended up binning it, but I think for Liverpool they were just going to do a sort of
Mm,
X Factor style, get everybody on stage and then go you.
yeah,
And it's just cruel. I think, and like you say with Mariana, like it took so
yeah.
many attempts, and you're sitting there going, "Come on, you're being put through the ringer here." It's
And also, I mean, on Tuesday that they were doing it to Zifferblatt, and they left them till
yeah,
last, and you could really tell because they were sort of
they were in
people were
bits.
saying to them, or that you're going to be the first country not to qualify for Ukraine ever, and so they had all
Oh,
that weighing on them, and then to leave them to the last minute, I thought was quite bad taste, to be perfectly honest. I know they
they
wanted the drama, but
they were
uh,
crying. I mean, I saw that. Like, I was just like, somebody get them some, like, safeguarding. I thought they were improving that
yeah.
this year, but but
The,
I really felt for them.
mm. I think the one moment where it did kind of justify itself was on Tuesday when we had that three-way split screen and it was Portugal, Azerbaijan, and Slovenia, and they were all like ones that no one thought was qualifying, and everyone was like, "Oh, one of these is through." Okay,
Yeah, you're like, wait, that wasn't the one I would have picked, but okay, But no, I was yeah, that was a genuine surprise. I enjoyed that one, the kind of split screen that shocked the nation.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm not sure this is going to a format that should stay.
No, I mean, it's made it to screen, which is more than some of the yeah, attempts at changing the format have done. But I don't necessarily think it's worth keeping around. Another quick note on the hosts. I think I'm really enjoying these two. I know Puzzle's not everyone's cup of tea, but I think they're really fun together. The crowd surfing thing I thought was magnificent. I just love that she was being carried over, on her back while saying things like, "How are you enjoying Eurovision? How old are
Yes,
you?" to people.
trying to do an interview while you're crowd surfing is certainly very. I was slightly concerned though, but was it Ryland was saying that like they sort of ran out of crowd in one of the rehearsals, and I'm like, it only takes one person to not quite be strong enough or whatever. Like, well, when
Yeah.
you're in the middle of just
Yeah,
concerning, but
I thought to do that on live television, that takes some guts, doesn't it?
it
So
does.
fair
That
play
takes
to her for
cojones. Yeah.
agreeing to it. And I've
I
I've
think
really enjoyed the sort of deadpan energy that she brings to it, actually. I think
she does. I mean, maybe that's her whole shtick. I mean, we were kind of going, oh, maybe it's just a bit wooden, and obviously English
mm,
isn't everyone's first language, but yeah, maybe it is a kind of deadpan person and the Joker, and that's their vibe. Yeah,
Yeah.
that maybe that's what they're going for.
It'll be interesting to see how the dynamic changes because obviously we've got Michelle Hunziker coming in on Saturday, so that'll be
Yes.
new vibes coming in there. So that'll be interesting to see how that works. But I've enjoyed the hosting team on semi-finals, and I think it has worked quite well. Shall we have a quick moment just to talk about our three automatic qualifiers from tonight?
Yes.
Remember Monday? I was slightly disappointed. I didn't think the vocals were. I think because we've built it up to be, the vocals will be flawless, whatever else happens. And I was sort of thinking, "Oh, the vocals aren't quite flawless. They're a little bit rough around the edges in places."
Yeah, I think because I think there was like a little bit of running around and stuff like that. There was certainly at
Mm,
least one of them where it felt like she was having to catch her breath, and then they were just ended up sort of dissolving in giggles. And I think my friend put it like it does feel like they're auditioning for a West End show rather than kind of Eurovision, and that's it's a different vibe
I
on
think,
stage too.
yeah, the thing about it that didn't quite land with me was the lead singer kept winking at me, which I found quite annoying. Not me personally,
Yeah,
winking at the
like
camera.
yeah,
But it felt slightly, and I've got this whole vibe from the kind of media approach to it that they want them to be relatable, and they're kind of whacking us around the head with it. It's a bit like when Little Mix were on the X Factor, and every week it was like they're so relatable,
they're
they're just
so
like
like
you,
you. Yeah,
and it's
are
like
they though?
the more you tell me that, the less I believe it. And
And also, well, this is the thing. Their postcard had them going up and doing some skiing and kind of, and they were giving me head girl energy, which is very it's a bit awful thing to say, but I don't kind of gel with them. And I think that the song is also kind of like, what do you want to be? Do you want it to be West End? Do you want to be Sam
yeah,
Ryder? Do you want to be Chapel Rowan? What are you doing?
I
Yes, all of them.
I
Right, okay.
I still can't fully get on board with the song. It just every single time it turns into "My Life" by Billy Joel in my head whenever I try and
Oh
picture
God.
it.
Yeah, now that you say that. This is my life. Oh, God.
Um, but yeah, and I wasn't a big fan of the costumes either. But that's
It was giving Bridgerton kind of, I suppose
yeah,
that's what they were going for. I don't
I
know.
think that's what they're going for. I feel I can do that. I'm still hoping it will do well, but
Yeah.
it's not really clicking for me if I'm perfectly honest. And that's my personal view, not you know
Yeah. I
not
mean, I hope they have
expecting
a
people to
nice
agree.
time and they're well taken care of and they get to see
Yes,
Basel and just have a party. And if they
yeah.
end up getting no pois, then at least they can, go to the green room and have the knees up.
I feel like, whatever else happens, they really, really wanted to do it, and so I'm hoping the fact that they got to do it is kind of justifying it by itself for them.
Exactly.
Um, France, I thought their performance was fantastic. I just thought she's an incredible singer. I thought their staging really worked because it was simple but effective. I think the song really hits home. I think you don't need to speak French to understand the sentiment behind it. So I think France are in a very strong position this year.
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with a sort of heartfelt ballad, and I know this, it's got quite a sad story behind it, I think. But the sand I thought was kind of cool, but there was always just a part of me at the back of my head going, "There's a lot of failure modes for sand just pouring
Yes.
down on your performance. Like, are you gonna swallow some? Are you gonna trip up?" I was impressed with how quickly they cleared it away, but it was
Yeah.
a nice visual, visually very cool to have that kind of sand timer thing.
Do you know what? I had the exact same thing. When there was a bit where she kind of had her arm up above her head, kind of into the flow of the cork slash sand, whatever it was. And I was just picturing like it's going to run down her arm into her
Yes.
mouth. She's going to choke on it, and it's going to ruin the whole performance. But obviously, she's a pro. It didn't happen. It's all
It's all
fine.
good. It's fine. She
Uh,
knows what she's doing. I mean, to be fair, she said riskier things. She got dangled above the Stade de France when they like
she
revealed
did
the show, and
exactly.
we were watching the rugby, going, right, okay, yeah, sure, why not? Like,
Yeah. So yeah, I think that they're in a very strong position for the weekend. And do you know what? I'm not betting against Germany at this point. I mean, I don't necessarily think it's a winner, but I think that song really slaps. And
yeah, it is
I know they've
really
not had the
good.
best kind of like pre-party circuit. She's been ill, and they've had to cancel a lot of appearances. But it was the right decision because when it came to it on the night, she delivered, and it was a really good performance. And I think that people might respond really well to that one.
Yeah, yeah, it's got a really good vibe. It's I can see it being very kind of Radio One playlist friendly. I
Mm.
think the Charlie XCX comparison, I can kind of see it, certainly like in the vocals and stuff. But the first one they've had in German for years as well. And it seems to be a lot of the ones that are doing well and getting through from the semis anyway, that are not the big five, are in their own language. So I
Mm.
do wonder if maybe this might be the difference. It's in German, it's a bop. Yeah, fingers crossed. What else
Yeah, I
can they
think
do, at this point?
I saw people saying it feels very Berlin, which is, it's
Mm,
great. Like it feels like this is something that's emerged out of Germany and feels very German. So, and that I think people respond well to that at Eurovision. They like to see people sending countries sending entries that fit that country. So
yeah,
that it
exactly.
could work really well for them. I really enjoyed having back the acts from 2020 as an interval act. That was lovely. I think it would have been nice if we'd seen a few of the ones who didn't get invited back in 2021.
That's the thing. We were noting that the majority of the ones that performed tonight, we obviously got to see again. And while I love the group and I love Destiny and all that, it's just a shame that we didn't see. Well, yeah, there's quite a few that you could pick, really. There's
Yeah.
so many that were robbed. Um,
Um, yeah,
and
I was very upset not to see Ulrika from Norway there, but
yeah.
pointed out to me by Ellie on Blue Sky. Shout out to Ellie, thank you very much. That Ulrika has just had a baby, so
Oh, well, fair
probably
enough. She's probably a bit busy
yeah,
then. Yeah.
probably a bit too busy to come back to Eurovision right at this exact moment. Well, I would have liked Alcohol You, but obviously
Oh,
Romania not currently doing Eurovision, so that might have been a whole big thing. So
oh, and that's so sad. I mean, it's actually kind of sad that they did touch on the countries that haven't come back. When they did the fan section, there was like Turkey popped up, and I was just thinking, come
mm,
back. I mean, it's just a shame that some of the acts, yeah, 2020, we could have had a lot more come back. But it's good that we
mm.
we got to hear some of the show. I liked John's Tears first effort
Yes.
rather than Tout l'univers. I think it was really good. Um,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it
yeah,
was
it
really
was it was
nice
a
to get
nice
to see.
touch. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. One thing I would like to just talk about, which isn't going to apply to everyone who watched it, but definitely applied to me, was the issues had by Sky in the UK, which I initially thought were just affecting me, and then it turns out were happening to pretty much a lot of people across the board. I had three separate crashes from Sky which interrupted the performance. The most egregious of which happening halfway through Serbia's performance, which meant I missed the beginning of Erika Vikman. So I will be complaining to the manager in my
That was shocking. It was shocking behaviour. I'm just glad that FreeSat were obviously on board. Based FreeSat.
yeah, it was really weird because I just I thought, oh, my box was packed in at a really weird time, and then I just saw like on Blue Sky, I was going,
What's
my Sky
happened?
stopped working. What's going on?
To be
So
fair,
and then
I thought that had happened on Tuesday because I think there was like 30 seconds of dead air. We just had black screen on
oh
Tuesday, and we were going,
yes,
ha ha ha. I think it might have just been Scotland. Weirdly, I don't know, but we were just going, no, no, no. But
but
yes.
yeah. So hopefully that won't be happening again on the final. That was quite frustrating. We did have to do a little bit of dashing to iPlayer to catch the bits in between. The other thing, there's been some breaking news just after the show, which is that Ncuti Gatwa, who was due to be the UK's spokesperson, will no longer be the UK's spokesperson due to unforeseen circumstances. We now have Sophie Ellis-Bextor instead, which
Hmm.
it's obviously it's a shame that we're not getting Ncuti, but big fan of Sophie. Very very pleased that we're getting her instead. So
Yeah, I mean that's a good, a disco queen that's much loved national treasure, and we are getting obviously we're getting some shooty beforehand because we've got the
yes.
Eurovision themed Doctor Who, so which I'm sure will be great. But yeah, no, I think Sophie will be a pretty good substitute.
Yeah, I think she knows what it's all about, doesn't she? She clearly enjoys a bit of Eurovision, so
I
she'll
think
be
she does. She's got a
she'll
heart of Schlager, I think.
yeah, exactly. And maybe she'll even do the votes from her kitchen disco. That would be quite cool.
Oh, that was so good.
So have we covered everything? I think I feel like we haven't really mentioned Serbia not getting through, which was a bit of a
No.
surprise, and I rather liked that one. I enjoy a bit of I think you're the same. We enjoy a bit of a Balkan ballad.
I do. I love a Balkan ballad, and I loved his national final performance, and that seemed like a better staging. Like he just had some people doing aerial silks, and that was about it. And there was the moon that he was sitting on, but in this one they dragged him along the floor, which was I don't know. I thought the vocals were good. I thought it was a lovely song, but I was very sad that didn't get through.
Mm,
So
yeah,
yeah, because we love a Balkan ballad.
me too. But I do think if the if the price of that was that we have we've got to lose Australia in the run, then it's the sacrifice I'm willing to
Yes,
make, I guess.
that's a price willing to pay. Yeah.
So let's just quickly remind everybody listening of everybody who has made it through to this year's grand final. So, of course, we have the big five countries of France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and the United Kingdom, plus our host nation of Switzerland. Then, from Tuesday's semi final, we have had Norway, Albania, Sweden, Iceland, Netherlands, Poland, San Marino, Estonia, Portugal and Ukraine. And then from this evening's semi-final, we have had Lithuania, Israel, Armenia, Denmark, Austria, Luxembourg, Finland, Latvia, Malta, and Greece. And I think that's shaping up to be a pretty good final.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. I think, mostly correct decisions were made. So I think this is going to be, very few drink breaks will be required.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, I think it's, and I still feel like the win is up for grabs at this point. I don't feel
Yeah.
like, I know Sweden is still ahead in the odds. Apparently, Netherlands have been coming in since Tuesday's
Oh, that's
semi-final.
good.
Finland have also Finland are now in the top five. Last time we checked, I think last time I checked, the top five was Sweden at the top, then France. Sorry, no, Sweden, then Austria, then France, then Netherlands, then Finland. I may have got a few of those in the wrong order, but we'll see. And I think Israel is kind of hovering on the edge because we all know that there'll be a strong televote in place there. So never entirely rule them out. But yeah, I think
I think it's
it'll be
quite
very,
open. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
kind of excited because I know people are going, oh, it's a shoe-in for Sweden, but actually, I don't know. I think it could be quite an interesting one. So maybe a really unexpected country to win. Hopefully, a cheap country.
A cheap country would be lovely. So this is the one downside of Reykjavik 2026 plan, isn't
That's
it?
true.
That,
Haven't planned that one. You have to start saving now, I think. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it could be very, very interesting to see. We will find out on Saturday night, and we will be back with an episode. We'll be recording on Sunday, ready to release on Monday morning, where we will discuss everything that happened in the grand final. AJ, I believe you will be joining me for that one as well, if all goes to plan.
I will be, yes. I'll probably be tired and emotional, but I will be here.
Fantastic. Me too. I mean, I'm could be borderline incoherent, more so than usual, but it will be great, and I'm looking forward to chatting to you then. AJ, thank you so much for joining us this evening and for all of your fantastic input.
Thank you very much. You're very welcome.
And yeah, so thank you everyone for listening. We will be back on Monday, and or possibly even Sunday if it gets up earlier. Who knows? But we'll just keep an eye out on your feed. We'll get it up there as soon as we can. And in the meantime, thank you all for listening. Please do remember to subscribe on your podcast platform of choice if you haven't done so already. If you leave us a lovely review too, that would be even better. And until the next time we hear from us, good night Europe and good morning Australia.